Yeah, I think, what we were seeing were things where the people coming to a16z were, and so just to set the stage, actually, I joined the firm in 2014 as a consultant. And actually, it was a time where I think the firm created a role to try to bring in smart people and people doing interesting things. So it was a so-called professor in residence role. And so I got there, and I was happened to be the first PIR that we had, and there's been subsequent fantastic people after that. But I didn't know what a PIR was, and I'm not actually sure what if the firm knew what a PIR was. So, and I started to just try to do things that would be interesting and useful, and just looking for what I thought would be the next thing. And I don't think this is much of a secret about venture capital, is that the whole purpose of venture capital is to invest in the things that downstream investors aren't ready for yet, whether that be ready for stage-wise or mentality-wise. That's the sort of arbitrage, that's the role of venture capital. And so we're always thinking about what is going to be the wave that's about to break. What is the next thing? Not the thing that everyone knows is important like 10 years ago, or the thing that maybe will be important 10 years from now, but the thing that's just on the verge. And I think what we were seeing at that time was that there was this really unique property of people coming to the firm and people that I was meeting just in general, that they were normally founders that would go to a tech company. And actually, a lot of these people had bio backgrounds, and it was one of the most frustrating things that people would graduate, let's say, from Stanford with a PhD in computational biology, and they would go to Google and drop the biology part and not use the biology part. In fact, actually, and you could see it quantitatively in salaries, like an ML engineer would make X, and an ML engineer in biology would make like 0.8X or something like that, almost like the biology was of negative value. That was changing, I think, around 2013, 2014, 2015, where now these founders were coming. They had this great background in sort of computer science, machine learning, and tech with a biology background, and they weren't going into a tech job. They were actually wanting to start companies. They wanted to start companies that were at this interface between tech and biology. And that could mean a lot of things, and it means a lot of things to different people. It could mean software, but it really, in my mind, it means an engineering approach, not a sort of empirical, sort of let's see if we get lucky approach, or something where we really can, to some degree, engineer it. And I think that was the key thing that we saw. And as we saw more and more people like that, it created both an opportunity and a challenge. The opportunity was that biopharma and healthcare is a huge part of the country's and the world's economy. And so it's natural to raise a fund to go after that. The challenge is that actually now we've got founders that know both tech and bio. We need a team that knows both. We need a team that can really understand how to build great tech companies, as well as to go very deep in the biopharma and healthcare practice, an area where there's a lot of technical elements. And so that was the real genesis of building together a whole separate fund, where previously in the firm, there would just be one core fund. And actually now subsequently, we have subsequent verticals in terms of adding a crypto fund and a growth fund and so on. But I think that was the genesis and the really requirement for that. And a lot of the mission I had at the time was not just to find these founders, but then to build out the team such that we could actually help them and invest in them with the same spirit that we would the tech companies, but with the great, hopefully, domain experience from biopharma and healthcare.